Yes, we are back on the Feather River, and look at that quartzy zone of mineralization. Scrumptious. Here is another. All of this in a sedimentary, mostly shale or slate type bedrock. Before we get to the river, though, let's think about depressions. No, not that kind. This kind. When you see rock stackings on both sides of a long depression, or one rock stacking with a depression against the side of a hill, think water fluming, water transportation. Many times these type areas are over 100 years old, and the depression portion is mostly filled in. Are these areas worth sampling? No. Here is another depression. If it is circular and not surrounded by rocks, suspect this was the site of a downed large tree. Are these areas worth sampling? Maybe. If you find an area like this around which has been heavily mined, it could be worth taking a sample. Possibly the tree fell after any mining and left a virgin spot of ground. Keep in mind, though, that these areas are generally hard to dig out, as there are many roots. Many times you will see depressions alongside of rock stackings. Now keep in mind, many of these stackings are over 100 years old, and they tend to be like icebergs. Quite a bit of them has been covered over by debris. The Chinese were very precise and zen with how they stacked. These were not that way. Hey, they were probably done by Americans. Are the depressions here worth sampling? No. Areas like this were picked clean years ago. If you find flat areas beyond where they stacked, if you are able to dig down far enough, then the ground might be virgin. I would be wondering, though, why these areas were left behind. I know the phrase gold is where you find it, but you exponentially increase your chances if you can choose areas not previously explored. So today we are crevicing on the Feather. Our only tools are a crowbar, spoon, and gold pan. So here is some slate that has water-worn features. Look for the exposed edges of the rock to be rounded. The more rounded they are, the better. Also, the top of the rock will be smooth. If you see harsh, angular cuts on the rock, suspect someone has been visiting. Even more so if you see sand, rather than gravel, embedded in or around the rock. Look at the findings just for this small area. Not bad for a couple dirt spoonfills. So, learn to read your bedrock and defer to those areas that have not yet been humanly touched. Here is another spot. Obviously, I took the photo once I began to work. Now, here is the whole spot once I was done. Not a huge amount of dirt removed. This amounted to maybe 5 or 6 pans. But here are my rewards. Not bad for such a small area, eh? So, let's review some pictures showing untouched bedrock. Be zen. Few things in nature are highly angular, so don't go there. Look for rounded features with gravel presence. Keep your eyes opened for small virgin areas surrounded by much larger spots that were accessed. When you are this lucky to find such a spot, dig in. Keep this in mind. Be careful how you remove plants in the bedrock next to the water's edge. Foliage keeps the water shaded and cooled, which is much better for the natural habitat. So be very select about what you remove, and always leave a certain amount of foliage behind so the area can regenerate more quickly.